Hey guys, I wanted to give you an introduction to some of the instruments that you can play if you join Orchestra. So these instruments are called string instruments, and they're a bowed string instrument that we'll be playing. There are some that you play on your shoulders, like this, and there's some that you play either sitting down on a chair or often sitting in a stool, but they all use a bow. So let's talk about the bow. So a bow looks like this, and the bow the name actually comes from bow and arrow bow, because originally about 400, 500 years ago, that's what they would use, just a bow and arrow bow. They pull it across these strings, that makes the sound. Here now is one of the instruments. This right here is the violin, and the violin is one of the most common string instruments that you'll see, and a lot of people would like to play the violin, and we'll talk in a different video about some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages of the violin. So this right here is another instrument. It is the viola. The viola, as you can see, is a little bit bigger than the violin, and it also is another one though that sits up on your shoulder, and what you do is you take, and just like the violin, you take that bow and you pull it across like that. This one right here is one of the bigger instruments. This is what we call a knee instrument, or a gamba instrument. This is the cello, and the cello is played by sitting down, and it rests up against your sternum, and you pull the bow across, and you put your fingers in like that. Now, when you think about string instruments, there's a lot of different options for playing string instruments. One of the biggest that most people think about is like in an orchestra, big orchestra. What's really fun about that is you have a lot of people around you when you're in a string orchestra that are playing the same part, and it makes this really big, really cool sound. However, it's not the only thing that you can play. You don't have to play just orchestra, just classical music. Let me give you an idea of some of the stuff you can play. So this is a classical piece on violin. But if you wanted to, you could also play some fiddle music. What's really great about each of these instruments, any of the string instruments, is they're very versatile. So you can play the classical music, you could play fiddle music, really fiddle music even on viola or cello or bass, but you could also do video game music. Now you could even play something like Imagine Dragons. So I saved this piece to the last. This is a double bass, sometimes called an upright bass or a contrabass. This instrument right here is the biggest of the string family. And this is actually a small bass right here. This is a quarter-size bass. So the full size is massive. It's very cool. So here is the double bass. What bass players do is actually jazz music as well as pop music things, and so you've got to do quite a bit of fun stuff on the bass. So these are all of the different instruments that if you join the orchestra, you'll have a chance to learn how to play.